All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a very exciting day here in the Harrisburg Bureau of Fire. We get to swear in 6 brand new members to the ranks of our department. As I talked to the mayor earlier today, this actually puts us above 80 personnel, and it's the first time since September of 2010 that we've been at this staffing level. So that's been quite a few years, and it's a commitment that we've had for the last 5 years in rebuilding the department, increasing manpower, and then obviously some of the other things that we're doing to make the department better, a better place to work. This group of guys that are coming on today, I've been told by HAC, and unfortunately I wasn't able to be with them and burn with them and do some things that I typically do because of some health issues that I had. But I was still getting reports, so don't think that I wasn't getting reports during those couple of weeks you were at HAC. And every report that we received on this group that came from the administrator at HAC was that it's probably one of the best classes that they've ever seen, from the work ethic, from the knowledge, skills, and abilities that they had already had prior to coming in. One of the things that sets this class apart, they were actually all EMTs or higher, 2 paramedics in the group. And we've never had that opportunity. So they were able to focus 100% on the firefighting knowledge, skills, and abilities in the academy, as opposed to having to go through several weeks of EMT and medical training. It sometimes becomes mundane after a couple of weeks of it. And we know that from going back to 2000 when we started requiring all of our firefighters to be EMTs to remain employed. So we are extremely proud of this group of fine young gentlemen that are going to join our ranks. And I would say to the family members that are here, fathers, mothers, wives, girlfriends, and young kids, we thank you for lending us your family members. They've signed on to probably what is the best job in the world. However, it is not without potential issues, and nothing became more apparent of that to this fire department than March the 10th of last year, when we had a terrible accident just a block and a half away that took the life of Lieutenant DeVoe. And it's kind of a somber story, but we're rejoicing today. We're actually closing a chapter in our book. With the sentencing this morning of Kanye Kendall, who killed DeVoe just over a year ago. And today we get to come out this afternoon and bring in new life and new blood to the fire department. So it is an exciting day. We start off with some tragedy and end on a high note. One of the things that I encourage the family to do is stand by their side. We've given them a lot of training these last 8 to 10, I guess it's been 12 weeks almost, and we kind of changed our apprenticeship program so that they don't have to be out of your lives to do some of these classes that we typically in years past would have had them do over the next 3 years. That was all completed in the last month and a half. But stand by them, because there's going to be times when they have to come to work. There's going to be times when they're begging you to let them come into work for a second alarm fire when we initiate recall. And they're going to come home with some bad things on their mind some days, and a lot of times we keep that in. But stay active with them and talk to them, and understand that this career is not an office job, sitting behind a desk counting beans all day. This is dealing with people when they're at their worst time. Nobody calls the fire department just to have us come out and give them a high five. That happens when they come in and use our basketball hoop. But we are usually called when it's a person's worst day, and we see a lot of lives lost, and that takes a toll on our members. And I just ask that the families just support each individual that's before you, and the firefighters that we currently have in our ranks, and those that have went before us that are currently retired. And just remember them and be next to them through some of the things, the trials and tribulations that this job puts before them. So. To the class, again, HAC has told us that this is one of the best classes that they've seen. And, every one of them has a commitment to the city now, and we are committed to them moving forward to ensure their health, safety, and welfare, and give them the knowledge, skills, and abilities to become leaders in our department as time goes on. So without further ado, I'll ask the Honorable Mayor Eric Papenfuse to come up, offer a few words of encouragement and wisdom, and then we will swear these young gentlemen into the ranks of the Harrisburg Bureau of Fire.
Well, thank you all. This really is an exciting time and incredible moment to be in Harrisburg. As Chief mentioned, we are now up to 85 firefighters, which is an extraordinary number. We have reversed a decade worth of decline, and we've really brought us back to a point where we weren't since the mid-2000s. There was a time when Harrisburg was on the brink of bankruptcy. I think we'd hemorrhaged. The fire department was down to only 60 firefighters, and now we're back up in full force to 85 and growing and stronger than ever. We've done all this over the past 4 to 5 years with careful planning with Chief Enterline and Deputy Chief Souter. We've begun to invest millions of dollars into critical infrastructure, such as a new roof here at the fire station, new equipment, to really make sure that the firefighters had everything that they needed to be able to do their job effectively. And we're really proud about it. And frankly, the growth of the fire department really mirrors the overall growth of the city. One of the stats that I'm excited about is that here with the 2020 census, we're going to start to see Harrisburg's population growing again after a 70-year trajectory downwards. Our population has gone from a high point in the 1950s. It's declined every census until it will now be reversed here in 2020. And we know that because of tax revenue and other demographic data, which is showing that people are starting to move back into the city. In addition to that, we've got over $1 billion. Do you realize we have $1 billion in new projects planned for the city of Harrisburg over the next decade? Some of which are breaking ground this year, others of which are in the planning stages. That includes everything from a new federal courthouse to a new Harrisburg University office tower, the largest tower in the Harrisburg skyline, planned for construction here soon, a new state archives building, new housing. It's enormously exciting. And we just announced on Friday that there's a major new project to reroute the Paxton Creek. We've got a $2 million grant from the state to begin a dechannelization project, which is literally going to take hundreds of acres along our industrial corridor, along the Cameron Street corridor, which are currently in the floodplain. It'll take them out of the floodplain and make them ripe for new development, new mixed uses, new commercial uses, as well as an amazing new greenway that should bisect the city and literally connect North and South Harrisburg, going sort of like a line through the circle of the Greenbelt. While that's happening, we have systematically begun repairing and replacing all of our parks and playgrounds for the city of Harrisburg. You know, we have 5 different playgrounds that are currently under complete and utter renovations, new basketball courts, new equipment, new green infrastructure and trees and surfacing. We've got a major new master plan for Reservoir Park, where I hope some of you will come see some of the immediate things. If you go see Shakespeare in the Park over the next week or two, you'll see millions of dollars that have been put into new lighting and new upgrades to the band shell and a planned new playground right near where Reservoir Park is happening. So the city is on the move. The city is growing just like the Harrisburg Fire Department is growing. And I'm hopeful that this summer, here at the end of this month in June, our lobbying efforts are going to pay off, and we're going to be able to get the state legislature to pass some changes to the fiscal code, which will allow the city of Harrisburg to exit from Act 47, put all of this history of negative financial news behind us, and continue the growth well into the future. So, gentlemen, it is a wonderful time to be a Harrisburg firefighter and a wonderful time to be coming on board as an employee of the city of Harrisburg. So we are very fortunate to have you. And again, to the family members that are here, thank you. We will make sure that they have the resources they need to succeed in their jobs. And with that, I'm going to step out here. I'm going to ask you all to please raise your right hands. We're going to do this all as a group, and if you would repeat after me, I shall read the oath of office. Are you ready? Okay. I state your names. Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I shall support, obey, and defend.
That I shall support, obey, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and I will, to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties of my office
discharge the duties of my office
as a Harrisburg firefighter
as a Harrisburg firefighter
with fidelity.
with fidelity. Congratulations.
That will conclude our brief ceremony for this afternoon. If anybody, any family members would like to get photos with their loved ones and with the mayor, with the deputy chief, or even me if you would like, we're willing to do that. We'll stick around for a little bit. And remember, this is the only day that this is ever going to happen in these gentlemen's career. So it's always a good time to get photos that you can look back on 20 years from now and say, wow, look how I look. So we encourage you to do that. Thanks for coming. Have a safe trip and protect your loved ones. Thank you.
Woo!